Record keeping is necessary for race pigeons. Typically, the pedigree is what comes to mind when someone thinks about record keeping. But beyond pedigree, record keeping is important.
It's important.
You can create a data collection by keeping accurate records. Then, by analyzing this data, additional information can be found. It can then be used to make informed decisions rather than theories or educated guesses.
Theories? No.
Here are some instances where keeping records is required or preferred. Breeding records. One of the most important records you will keep is a breeding record. Breeding records, however, can improve the correctness of a pedigree when combined with other effective record-keeping techniques. In terms of breeding records, this is the fundamental data that you should keep track of. Sire and dam. Round number. Date of eggs that are laid and hatched. Date that youngsters have been banded. Band number of the youngsters. Date the youngsters are weaned. Physical observation about each youngster. If it's short, uncommon navel, slow development, whatsoever, you need to take note of it. Then, the color of youngster. Racing records. Maintain accurate race records, and analyzing data is significantly simpler if you use a program like PigeonDB. The following should be recorded in each bird's race records. You might learn from this information that a particular bird performed well in a certain condition. You may then set up the bird in the same nesting situation for the same distance. During a subsequent race or season, you could find that your birds perform better in some weather conditions than others. It's important for the performance to add to the pedigree. Be sure to update the information for the sire, dam, and grandsires and granddams if your bird has won a reward, certificate, or a competition. You can even take it a step further and update the great-grands records, but this can be time-consuming. So, on the racing records, make sure to put in the race date, distance, racing conditions, if it's good weather, strong winds, headwind, tailwind, release time, arrival time, speed, loft position, club position, or position on the national or the federation, points that it's earned, diplomas that it won, it's a race winner, the speed, and also take note of the nesting condition. If it's on celibacy or widowhood or on the natural system, so that you could replicate this condition or improve it the next time. So write it down if it's sitting on eggs or it's sitting on youngsters, or you remove the birds, the youngsters the day before. Write it down so that you could observe and try to evaluate your system. Also, write down the return condition. If it was really tired, if it arrived late, or it looked like it never raced, it's still very fresh, write it down. Then, position in the mold. And also, notations of physical condition when shipping. So, if there's any particular things that you noticed while you were shipping the bird, write it down as well. Season records. You must also keep track of the activities you engage in during the racing season. If you had a good year, you might wish to repeat your actions, but it will be very difficult to do so if you don't record them. This is particularly true if you frequently alter your method of doing things. The important things to note down are date of medication, vaccines administered, type of feeding that you're giving each day, type of training, are you law flying, whether it is law flying or flag flying or road training, dates of major events happen such as pairing up or natural or splitting the widowhood hens with the cocks. Also, take note of your preparations for shipping, the time that birds were fed, what you fed them, if you took the grit away, what time you put the hens or the cocks together for widowhood, when you created them, what time before going to the club, and then of course, the weather conditions. You can keep track of anything that is significant to you. The fancier who consistently and accurately keeps track of his or her activities is 10 steps ahead of the fancier who doesn't. Don't discard your information. Instead, record it. Put the records from the season in a binder or on an online source like PigeonDB. You never know when you'll want to review your previous work or reproduce it. Sometimes, when we try something new, we determine it wasn't the right move. Or maybe we find out that it is. So, save your information. If you work hard, you will hold the power of knowledge in your hand.